Greetings. Well, you probably figured what I'm going to talk about. It's the hate speech, hate symbols law. It's just been introduced federally in this country. Shockingly bad idea. I believe it was the ADL who said that reasonable speech doesn't need to be protected. Free speech laws are to protect speech that is perceived to be detestable. And the thing is, what's considered detestable and who determines? It's a very slippery slope. I'm no fan of the regime that we're talking about there. Terrible people did terrible things. But it is a very slippery slope. It's a short jump from the Nazi Hakenkreuz over to the Eureka Stockade flag, for example. And yes, it has been attached to some bad people with some bad ideas, but it also represents part of this country's history and the union movement. And so you can see, very quickly muddied water. And of course, any group that wants to form any kind of resistance to the government. And let's face it, governments in this country even haven't always been fair. But they'll be very easy to label you as a terrorist now for displaying such a symbol. Given how much control the Zionists have over our politicians, how long before it's not just a Hamas logo, but a Palestinian flag would be enough to get you 12 months in jail? Or a Russian one? Or a Taiwanese or Chinese flag? No fan of the CCP and their horrible flag, but some people in this country claim that heritage, and we're still taking them in as citizens. So some heritages are okay and some heritages are not. The water's muddy already. Should we continue down this path? And why did this come about now? These are questions we should all be asking. There are other things happening, of course. There's a bombing in Fort Worth. I think 11 people were injured. The bomber has an Arabic name, but I don't believe any group has claimed responsibility. There's been a whole run of crazy things. In fact, from an outside observer, I think America's experiencing what a hacker would call a fire sale attack. Distributed attacks, seemingly random, dispersing first responders and defenders, spreading resources thin, sowing chaos. It's an attack in and of itself, but it also could soften up the target for a larger attack. As we've seen, both provocations and veiled hints from the establishment over there that they expect attacks, reprisals, civil unrest. I think the Civil War in America is an inevitability at this point. I don't see how we can get out of it when the powers that be seem to be pushing for it, doing everything they can to criminalize half the country. I think it's a powder keg, and I think that's the point. I think the powers that be know what America represents as a symbol, not the United States corporation and all the evil that it does on behalf of others. Its masters, the crypto British Empire, and its brother attack dog of the same, the Israeli government and its intelligence apparatus. The way I see it now is America and Israel are the left and right hands of the British Empire. One does the dirty work in terms of investigation, manipulation, blackmail operations, weapons manufacture, and the other one comes in with the guns and the boots and kicks the doors. But Britain always profits, and behind most of these incidents you'll find some kind of British asset. Boris Johnson killing the peace talks, MI6 Steele from the Steele dossier. England's always there in the back giving everything a nudge. I think the royals still own this planet. They don't just hold the most real estate titles. They own all the money. I think that's who's behind BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. It's the old money trying to bring back neo-feudalism, as I say often. The history of humankind is free men smashing tyrants. Tyrants don't like that. They're trying to lock it all back down. They want to have something like Edo, Japan, domestic passports to leave your 15-minute city. Have you got a good reason? Do you really need to visit Granny? You know you've used up all your cover for this month. Your cricket ration will be halved. You get the point. Keep your heads. Things are going to get hot, both here and abroad. Prepare. Stock up. Food, gas, water, petrol, generators, batteries, medical supplies. Maersk have banned all their ships from the Red Sea. So prices are going to double at the grocery store over the next little while. And our dollars are going to continue to sink. So think about diversifying your assets if you have any, if you're not strapped like us down to the white knuckle. Do what you can. And at the end of the day, all we're going to have is each other. When things get real bad, you won't be able to count on the police. You won't be able to count on the fire brigade. You won't be able to count on the government. They'll all be looking after themselves. And they'll be happy to run you over to do it at that point. That's just the history of the world, particularly the last century. So, have a plan. If you live in a major city, have a get-out plan. Get some friends in the country, family. Be prepared to go and camp in their yard, because things could get real bad. You might have to roll up your sleeves to keep earn your keep, because the money you will be offering them won't be worth the polymer it's printed on. So that's today's little rant. Peace, love, and kung fu. Black Eye out.